How's it going, guys? I got like this mixed OU-UU thing versus a guy by the name of Nue Saki, and I'm actually using a new team of mine. It's kind of OU, kind of UU, kind of just a little bit of everything in that tier. And I was like, you know what? I want someone to give me a mixed match, I suppose. And he was like, yeah, I'll bite. So it was a game, we had it, and that's why I am showing it today. But he's gonna go ahead and lead off with Skarmy. I'm gonna go ahead and lead off with my Scarf Victini. He doesn't know that at the moment. It's really just for, you know, talking points, I suppose. But he's not gonna want to take a V-Create. And even if he were to want to take a V-Create and, you know, to stay in to set up the Stealth Rocks, there is the chance that I could easily switch out to Espeon and bounce him right back. Because of that, he has no business staying in whatsoever. So he decides to go out into his Flygon to take the hit, and I was a little like weirded out as to why he did this, but the explanation for it is his Jellicent is probably specially defensive. I wasn't really even paying attention to how much his V-Create did to it, and I was like, you know what, that's probably just stock resisted damage, things like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get out of here in case, you know, he happens to be Scarf or anything like that, or if he's running a Jolly Nature or something like that and it just ends up being a nasty Speed Tie or something like that. I don't know, but he shows me Sub as I switch out to Vaporeon, which I found kind of weird, but I was like, you know, Sub Roost, Dual Stab, something like that, you know, if you want to run something silly like that. But I see that my Scald goes first, and it actually ends up breaking a Sub. And the thing is that's because he's going for Dragon Tail, which happens to be a negative priority move. So he's going to go ahead and phase me out of here. I'm just going to go ahead and roll with it, you know. This is kind of an unconventional Flygon set as is, but because it's at a low amount of health, I feel like I really don't have to worry about it. I don't even know what item it has. Like, if it's got Sub and Dragon Tail, I would kind of expect lefties. But maybe, you know, he doesn't have lefties because he just thinks he has a safe opportunity to roost. Whatever the case, I decided to go for a Sub, knowing that if he does roost, then I will get the Sub for free. If he switches out, I get it for free as well. But he brings in his Jellicent right now, and I'm going to go for the payback. Now, this turn, while not exactly vital to the entire outcome of the game, really gave me a lot of breathing room in that I do score a critical hit here. And because of that, he now has no resistance to fighting. Actually, does he? I don't think he does. I don't think he has a resist to fighting at this point. So I can just punch the tits off of everything, and his plan B, you know, his failsafe maneuver, while not a very good one, is going to be to have to phase me out with Skarmy. But I'm going to go for the Dynamic Punch. If he hits himself in confusion, I can just punch him again. But looking at how much damage that does, he's probably a little bit more physically defensive than I think he is. So this is not really going to be a cakewalk. I'll probably end up burning through a lot of my dynamic punches right now. But my other plan B is that if he decides to try to phase me out from behind the Sub, I can always go out to Espeon, and Magic Bounce does apply to Roar and to Whirlwind. So what I can do is I can bounce it right back into him, and if I end up landing him into like Terrakion or something like that, then I can go for my stab move, or I can go out to Gengar. You know, I have many options depending on what happens in the next couple of turns. But it actually turns out that I think he just hurts himself in confusion another time. He's probably a little bit grateful for that because I don't know what move he went for, but if he tried to bounce it back, that wouldn't have really worked out too well for him. Or, no, if I bounce it back, that wouldn't have worked out too well for him. Oh my god, I can't talk. Ah! So, gonna go for the Calm Mind, as I expect him to stay confused another time. But I think he either breaks through or he just completely snaps out. Yeah, he snaps, okay. And he's gonna go for the Brave Bird. Now, Skarm's not exactly a offensive powerhouse unless you make it one, and, you know, Espeon is a little bit fragile on the defensive side, but I take it reasonably well, I suppose. And I was like, okay, I made this Espeon from Kazo's database. For some reason, I thought, okay, it's got Hidden Power Fire. I'm gonna go for a Calm Mind and then an HP Fire, and then that should probably take out the Skarm. What I forgot was that there was a Houndoom, and I was like, oh, son of a bitch, I just powered this up, this thing's got Pursuit, all sorts of nasty things, and then it turns out that it's actually Hidden Power Fighting, and then it just kills him off in one hit. I'm like, I am totally okay with that. You know, I don't even know why my Espeon would have Hidden Power Fire, since, you know, I think, actually Fire and Fighting kind of lose that on the Speed IV too, so whatever. I don't know what happened. Point is I kind of scared myself a little bit into thinking that it was something that it wasn't, and I'm a little bit more relieved because of that. So, I got a +1 Espeon, but he brings in Terrakion, and the way he brings it in, I'm not gonna fucking stay in, and that thing might be Scarfed. So, gonna switch out to something fresh, you know, a physically defensive wall. While I don't actually have any resistances to, you know, well, I don't know what he's gonna go for, so I figured Vaporeon was a pretty safe option. And I got a reasonable amount of health, so I'm just going to go ahead and take that close combat. Not well at all, and this is a physically defensive Vaporeon, as I previously mentioned, I believe. So I'm like, okay, you know what? It might be banded, so what I'm going to do is I am actually going to go ahead and protect here, get a little bit of lefty's HP, and also see if he's going to go for close combat again. You know, if he wasn't banded, then he could have gone for the earthquake right there, or, you know, just other things. Just a different move just to not lower his defense and special defense again. But the main thing that's coaxing me into the fact that he's probably banded is just how much damage he does. That thing has so much power. So I'm going to go out into my Gengar, and sub-disable Gengar is basically choice-banded Terrakion's worst fucking enemy, let me tell you. So, right now, I realize that everything on his team can and will die to a couple of Focus Blasts. If his Empoleon wants to switch in on it to try to take the Shadow Ball, and I Focus Blast instead, it'll more than likely end up getting 2-hit KO'd or 3-hit KO'd. And, you know, if it doesn't get KO'd, then I can always switch out to Vaporeon or anything like that after that. So I have really just a lot of options right now for what I can do just in case Focus Blast misses. But I hit 2 for 2. That is very surprising to me and things, but I end up taking it out. And Gengar is Gengar's going to do a lot of work, as you probably might have predicted. But he has what? He has his Flygon, he has his Skarmory, and he has his Terrakion left. Flygon and Skarmory are both within Focus Blast / Shadow Ball killing range. So I was like, okay, let's just do it. Based on the damage from Dynamic Punch from earlier, I'm thinking that he's probably not specially invested at all. And a half health range is you know, a pretty good range for me to try to take it out from. And it works, so fantastic. But in comes Terrakion again. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to sub up first right here, because if he's banded, then I can sub, I can disable the next turn, and then he'll have to get out of here. But he decides to go for the Stone Edge. If it missed, you know, fantastic. If it doesn't, I still have lots of HP to do sub-disable shenanigans with. And this is actually probably one of my first times threatening someone effectively with sub-disable. I tried it, you know, once or twice in the past, and I was like, this set really isn't for me. But I can see why people use it now. It's really handy. So he decided to switch out to Flygon right now. I was like, okay, you know, disable Flygon, whatever. It's at a really low amount of HP too. I know it's not Scarfed, so I might as well just stay in here, go for the Shadow Ball, or, you know, anything like that. But to push my luck, I probably could have gone for the Focus Blast, but I'm not going to push my luck when I'm in as good of a boat as I am right now. You know, Gengar has not switched out for some time, and, you know, he's just going to stay in for a little bit longer. But in comes Terrakion again, because this is a banded one, and because I am a sub-disable set, you guys might get to see something kill itself off owing to struggle, and I found that so fucking hilarious. But unfortunately, he does end up missing the Stone Edge here. Going back to talk about the points earlier in the game, you know, there was the Jellicent that, had I not crit it, might have still been alive at this point, but I do have my Ghost Stab, and, you know, I do have, I believe, all of my other pokes at this point, so I don't even know what to say to that. Actually, I pretty much just said what I was going to say on that. Whatever. So I disable him. Means a Stone Edge is his only move he can go for because he's choice banded, and because I've disabled it, and on top of that, I Focus Blast him. If this doesn't kill him, he will kill himself off hOnK to struggle, which is fan-fucking-tastic if you ask me. So he has no moves left, kills himself off. If there's a silver lining to the situation, at least he was able to break my sub. But that's the game, guys. I kind of like using this team. It's not really a potent team, but it does relate to a current obsession in my life at the moment. So I was like, hey, this is awesome. This is a nice, decent length game for Tuesday. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you're welcome to leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. Oh my god, it is 2 in the afternoon, and I haven't eaten. I'm gonna go eat, and I hope you guys are like eating and stuff. Like, I hope my videos to you guys are like the eating videos, because I have that with a couple people. So we have this, I make videos and you eat while watching my videos, and we can all just be fat and merry and eat and stuff. So have a good meal, I suppose, or I hope you had one, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.